Hi, and welcome back to the Study Break podcast brought to you by Southern New Hampshire University. Today I sit down with SNHU staff member and recent graduate Kitrick Bell. Kitrick is the lead developer on our nurture marketing team and recently got his master's in information technology with a concentration in software application development right here at SNHU. We talk about balancing school, family, and work and how his degree is helping him in his current role. So let's take it over to my interview with Kitrick. So let's start from the beginning. Just tell me who you are and what you do at SNHU.
Sure. Well, my name is Kitrick Bell. I am the lead developer for the nurture marketing team. So I develop a lot of the landing pages that the students who inquire get to see, get to help them through the process as well. And so that's who I am. That's what I do.
Nice. Are you student facing at all? Do you interact with students?
No, I don't personally interact with students. I am a remote worker.
Yep.
So I don't personally interact with students, but I get to see some of the analytics and things that students are interacting with our web pages. Nice. I get to see that side of things, and so it's made a tremendous impact. The pages that we build, design, and give to the students, and so it's incredible to see.
That's awesome. I mean, you mentioned you're a remote worker.
Yes.
So can you just tell me where you live?
Yeah, I live in Houston. Specifically, we live in a smaller city called Missouri City. We stayed in Richmond, but we just moved back to Missouri City within the past year. And so that's where I stay.
Nice. Yeah. Tell me about the surrounding area. What is life like?
Life is very hot in Houston, very humid. I like to joke and say we have two seasons, summer and half spring. So we get cold. So when I landed here, one of the things that I notice right off the bat is how cold it is here.
Yeah.
And so it gets cold like this in Houston maybe 2 weeks out the entire year. Yeah. So it's different. So it's definitely hot. I spoke with my manager, Paul. We both like to run. And so I have to run either super early or super late in the evening because of how hot it is. And you can pass out really quickly over there. So
yeah.
One thing I will say is the layout, the infrastructure is very concrete. It's not a lot of nature out there, which is something that kind of discourages me. And it's what I like about out here. And the drive from Boston to here was a lot of trees, a lot of nature, and that's what I really enjoy about being out here. Yeah.
So for context, we're in New England, in New Hampshire. Yes. You said you have 2 seasons. I feel like we have 4 seasons, but they're always it's false fall, then real fall, then fake summer, then real summer. It will get really hot, and then it'll get freezing the next day, and then it gets hot again. Yeah. So it's all over the place. But I can't imagine running in Texas heat.
It's a whole different experience. Yeah.
Can you tell me about what it is like to work remotely at Southern New Hampshire University?
Yeah, working remotely is pretty awesome. It's really laid back. A lot of the teammates that I work with, of course, this is my first time meeting them in person. So over the virtual, the personality comes across. They're very humble, genuine people. And when I first interviewed with them, I told them in the interview that it felt like you guys was family already from the interview. And I felt comfortable enough to say that during the interview because I truly felt comfortable. And of course, when you first interviewing people, you have nerves. You're nervous about things.
Yep.
But as the interview went on, I immediately felt comfortable. And I was like, this would be a great place to be to work. And then meeting with them through the interview and then meeting with them every day during the syncs and stuff, they're so genuine. It feels relaxed, comfortable. Everybody's patient, genuine, and it's helpful too. They're servitude, and ready to help whenever. So it's very relaxing. I'm very comfortable, and this is one of the best places I've ever worked at.
That's great.
So it's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of companies talk about culture and why it's important, but I've been here for 10 years, and I feel like we actually believe in the mission that we're doing here.
Yes.
And everyone lives and breathes it, and I agree, everyone is so welcoming that works here.
Yeah, and it's so many different backgrounds, so many different experiences that people are coming from, but everybody shares the same values, and right. I can feel that through everybody. I've never had any kind of negative interaction with anybody on the team, and I've been working here for about 2 years, and never any negative interaction, so that's beautiful. If there's something that comes up, because life happens, I have a 3-year-old daughter, if she's sick or something happens with my wife or even myself, if we're sick, it's not a big deal to take off because we have a great team that can step in and take over when you need to step out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Well, along with working here, you also attended school here, correct?
Yes, I did.
And before we get into that, because I'm excited to hear about that, can you just tell me why education is important to you in general?
Yeah, education is super important because, one, it helps kind of open doors up for employment. For example, I think without even the prior education that I've had, I wouldn't even have the experience, the opportunity to even interview for SNHU. So a lot of companies nowadays look at that as one of the first kind of prerequisites to even landing a job. So that in that aspect is important. And then plus, you got to know what you're doing. So I would say when I got here and heard of the tuition benefits that they have for the employees, I immediately was like, I'm gonna take advantage of that as quickly as possible because I knew for me, education, I want to be able to expand in the field that I'm in, learn the intricacies of it, not just on the front end, because I primarily do front end for our team, but within the back end as well, the functionality of how things work from start to finish. And it gives you a broader scope of how things work. And it's always been super interesting to me. And so to be able to take advantage of that and to study within that and learn more about it is super important.
Can you talk about the admissions process a little bit, what that was like?
I reached out to my manager and he directed me to admissions, but they help you through it. And then you get assigned an advisor. And my advisor, her name's Mary, she is so helpful. She registered me, walked me through the process when I let her know, like, maybe too much for this term. She was like, yeah, we can do one, we can do this. And she let me know about how rigorous the course may be as well too. So SNHU does a great job of walking you through the process, give you the steps, and give you the resources that you need to be successful.
What about your instructors in the classes? Did you find them helpful?
Oh yeah, for sure. There was a lot of times where I was, especially I can remember this oriented object programming class. It was JavaScript, not JavaScript. It was Java. And that's kind of foreign to me, so it was a new tech that I was able to get in and learn. And so I was very confused on some of the syntax, on how some things work within the application that we were building. And I reached out, and he was able to help me through that process, and he was able to give me the concepts of what the things that I was lacking in my understanding. He was able to lay those out in a way that I understood it. He was super helpful in that. And they respond very quickly through email. If you need help, they respond very fast, very quickly, and super helpful. You can tell a lot of them care about what they do.
Yeah. Did you go full-time or part-time mostly?
I was, so explain the full-time.
So I think it's the master's program, correct? So
right.
I think it was 2 classes was full-time, and then one was part-time.
For this, yes, for the most part, I did two because I was trying to finish.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I did 2 where I could, but it was a couple of terms where I did do 1 because of just life things, and I was like, and then looking at the rigor of the program, because I knew some was going to be very intensive when it comes to application classes, and your advisor let you know too, like, yeah, this class is going to be a little tough. So I was like, yeah, maybe on this one I'll just do, but on courses where it's like maybe more paper intensive, I would take 2. But for stuff for like application and things like that, I would take 1 because I knew it was going to be a little bit more brain power to be able to power through.
Yeah.
So I definitely took some 2, some 1.
That's smart, looking at the upcoming classes and deciding from there. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you have a 3-year-old daughter, right?
Yes.
So how did you balance all of that, work, school, and life?
How did I balance that? That's a terrific question. It is difficult, but having that support system, I'm very fortunate in my case because, yes, it's just one child, but it's extremely difficult. But my wife, my mother-in-law stays with us, and then my mom, she stays about 8 minutes from us, and she was super helpful too. So just from that aspect, just from the family aspect alone, whenever I needed time to step away to actually focus and grind on the things that I was doing, the village that I had was incredible. They was able to take them take the child and do what they needed to do with her while I got my courses finished. And of course, just organizing, because you got work, you got family things, you got personal things that are going on. So just the structure that the courses have was very helpful too, because you knew Thursday this is done, Sunday this is needed. So having a time management aspect and being able to lay it out and plan and to be able to just kind of coordinate those things in a way that you'll be able to get those things done was super helpful. So having the village and time management were two of the biggest things.
Because you have the deadlines, it's Thursday and Sunday night, right? But other than that, you feel like it was pretty flexible in your program?
Yeah, pretty flexible. In terms of it's not something that's due every day. Right. So in terms of you be able to structure it out, plan it out according to your own schedule, get things done, and it's online. So you get done with work, you can be working at whatever time that you have free to be able to get those done. And if you do something every day, a little bit every day, by the time it's due, it's going to seem like it's just already done. You know? So I will say, do not, and I've done this a few times, do not try to cram it all on the due date. Like on a Sunday, if you have a big paper due, do not try to do it all then. I would definitely try to plan out each day and do a little bit at a time. And then by the time the due date is there, it's ready.
Especially during football season, I was like, I cannot cram this all in on a Sunday.
Because and then life could happen too. Like we were talking about, you never know what could happen on that Sunday. You wait to the last minute to do it on a Sunday, and then something comes up, and now you're struggling at like 10 p.m. to try to get it in by 11:59.
Right. So you mentioned this a little bit. I want to talk about it a little bit more. So talk to me about the skills you learned in your program that you were able to apply directly to your job.
Yeah, some of the skills that I was able to obtain from the program dealing with code, one foremost and forefront was the code efficiency. Within our landing pages, we have, and some of the apps that we deal with within our nurture team, there's a lot of maybe JavaScript code, a lot of code that's in our pages that we built. What the program helped me do was the code efficiency to be able to make things more readable, to make it more efficient in terms of maybe shortening lines of code, easier ways to write code so that it's shorter and more condensed, so that the page time, the performance time runs faster for the students, and so then our apps can work more efficiently. And I think those were the two biggest things that helped me from the course: the readability, the efficiency, the performance, and it's been really successful, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
And then in terms of that too, I would say that it also gives me a new creative outlook on things. If certain problems or something may arrive, I have a new perspective, like, oh, I can do it this way versus the way I've been doing it, because now I'm more improved, I'm more polished in code and coding, and I don't feel like I'm just a coder anymore. I feel like now I am a more well-rounded programmer now because of the course.
So you finished your degree. What did it feel like to submit that final assignment?
It was such a relief. The final course that I'm sure is consistent throughout is a capstone. And what I like about the capstone is that it gives you the freedom to kind of select a project that you kind of care about and want to do and want to kind of bring it to fruition. So what I had picked was what I did was like kind of like I don't know if you guys watch anime, but it's like a solo leveling app for fitness. And so you log onto the app, you do what it needs to do, and it gives you experience points. It's kind of like a gaming system for your application. And so when I was excited, the capstone gives you the opportunity to do that, to pick something that you're excited about. And so to be able to just submit it in the final, and it's far from completion. It's 10 weeks, far from completion, but you get a nice solid base. To turn that in, it felt so amazing, because I was like, wow, I'm really finally done. And to think about next week, and you're just like, there's nothing to do next week. Yep. It was such a relief in that aspect, too. And it's like, wow, I really set out in my mind to do this, to go through the process. It's a lot of ups and downs. It was very hard at times. Sometimes I was confused. Sometimes I would think, like, am I going to get through this? But I did it. I feel so accomplished. And in the end, I was just so, again, the word of the day is grateful. I was so grateful that I was able to complete it and add something else to my belt to be able to add value to the university and add value to the people that I work for.
Yeah.
When they reaching out for help and stuff like that.
I remember, I think my capstone, there was the classes leading up to it were in preparation just for that final capstone. Is that how it was in yours as well?
Yeah. A lot of it was aspects to be able to finish that capstone for sure.
So where do you hope your degree takes you from here? I know that you love working here. What's next?
That's a good question. What's next? What I would hope, I definitely want to become more of an asset in a lot of different areas. There's tremendous opportunity within the nurture program alone, where I know that. So I'm gonna step back a little bit. I was a business systems analyst before switching over into development, and so I have a background in SQL. And so I see a lot of opportunity within the company alone where I can become a little bit more knowledgeable in each field. So that way, if somebody needs help with something, I'm skilled in that. So what I hope for myself is to be more of a valued asset where I'm just not only focused on this one particular thing, but if somebody needs help, let's say within Salesforce marketing where they need help with data extensions or journeys or anything like that. I want to be able to step in and be like, oh, I understand this, I get it, and just be overall a better service to the company and to my team. Yeah. That's the main point. For me, titles and things like that doesn't get me moving versus me serving others, to be able to help other people in that way. I know a lot of people want the promotions and things like that, but that doesn't excite me as much as being able to help others in different areas and just being an overall expert in a lot of different areas and not just what I'm focused on.
So if someone is looking to get their degree, what would you say to motivate them?
That's a good question. I would say to really stay focused on what it is that you're doing and have a vision of what it is that why are you doing it? So have a vision of the end goal when you are going through the program. Why is it that you want to get this done? Is it just to have a degree? That's okay, cool, but there's got to be a why behind why you want to do it. The reason why I wanted to do it, like I said before, was to become more knowledgeable within development. And for me, I see development, the way my mind works, it's so many elements within development that I learned, just not even through coding, but in life in general. Like when I'm coding, like let's say an if-then statement, which is like a condition, like if-then, if this happens, then I think about that in life. Like if you do this, then this will happen. And then you have a loop. If you go into this situation, you can get caught into this loop. You get caught in this loop if you don't break out of this condition. So it applies to my life, and I think in code like that sometimes too. So it's just like, why is it that you do it? I do it to learn more, and the more I learn about it, the more I see in life how it even applies. So it's kind of a like a side by side thing. It's more than just the degree for me. Yeah. It's about learning. It's about gaining experience, and it's about using it to have experiences like this. Like if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be sitting here having this podcast right now. Yeah. So I just look at it in that aspect. It's much more than just a degree. It's life.
Yeah. It's such an important skill too. I almost feel like everyone should learn how to code.
Oh yeah. Yes, for sure. Yeah. I definitely agree. For me, what really got me into coding, when I was young, I used to play this thing called RPG Maker. And it's really code. It was, at the time I didn't know, but it's really code based in the way things work. So you have switches, which if you interact with this thing, this happens. It flips a switch that makes something else happens when you're building these games. And at the time I didn't know that's what it was. But as I grew up and I switched over into the development side, I was like, oh, this is very similar to what I was doing. Because what I did at first, I did not enjoy it. Like I said, I was a systems analyst, but I didn't enjoy the environment I was in. And I was like, something has to change. So I spoke with my wife. We made that flip into go into the boot camp. And I realized this is where I really thrive. This is what I really enjoy doing. It's very creative. It's really great. And I think anybody who's interested in tech, who has that creative mindset, should really go for it because it's really rewarding. I really enjoy what I do.
Talk about commencement. Like, what are you feeling? Are you excited for it?
I am excited. So fun fact, might not be so fun. I did not walk at my college graduation and bachelor. I think by that time I did play sports. I took a victory lap, and by that time I was kind of exhausted with it all. So by the time I was ready to graduate, it was like, I just want to get out of here, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to have that experience. And then I think my family kind of was like, you should walk. And then my professor was like that, but I was like, I'm just exhausted. I just want to go home. So this time around it's even more special because I haven't walked since high school. And so this is a big achievement. So I am excited. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Just to have that experience, something that I missed out willingly, but I missed out on. But it's important for me to do this.
Well, I can tell you, I've been to a lot of commencements here. Been here for almost 10 years. They're very special. It's going to be an awesome time. Yeah.
Yes,
especially knowing, because a lot of the employees here, like that's going to make it even more special. So. Okay, there's a segment we call brain breaks. So they're fun questions, nothing about school, a little bit about school, but not as intense.
Okay.
So when you were in your program, did you have a favorite study snack that you would eat?
Oh, man. I love gummy bears. Gummy bears is my poison. I think anything gummy I prefer that over any kind of snack. So for sure, gummy bears, anything gummy.
Do you have a favorite study music?
I love lo-fi hip-hop and super weird. I love what is OST orchestra music. So I don't know if you ever played like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, of course.
That? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know how great that music is, man. It is beautiful. They have the orchestra on YouTube, and I go to that all the time.
That's awesome.
I love OST, lo-fi OST orchestra music. That is I can't listen to anything that's speaking unless it's very chill. But for the most part, I can't listen to music with lyrics while I'm working.
Right.
It's a little bit too distracting for me.
Yeah.
But those things, I can listen to it all the time.
What's the latest you stayed up working on an assignment?
3 a.m. I was so stressed at this one class. I really was, but it was like 3 a.m. 4. And I think it was due the next day. I think it was like a Saturday, and it was due, but I could not get it to function the way I needed to. I kept getting these errors when I was debugging on the code, and I could not solve it. And I eventually did solve it, but I was up so late, and I was very tired, but I was determined to get it done. So yeah, 3 a.m. And like I said, it's not easy.
That's pretty late.
Yeah.
I've heard about that when there's a bug and you can't find it, and the longer you look at the screen, the worse it gets, right?
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is a lot of the times, and I experienced this at work too, a lot of the times I'm focusing so hard on this bug that I have, and I can't figure it out. And I'm like, you know what, I'm giving up for today. I get up the next morning, and I figure it out super quick.
Yep.
I'm like, whoa, my goodness.
Yep.
What is going on? So I spent all that time yesterday. I just needed to take a break. And a lot of times that's what it is, too. You're just a fresh mind.
It's same thing with video editing. I mean, they're almost like both creative fields, I feel like. You'll be editing something all day, and you look at it, and you're like, something's missing. Then you step away for a little bit, come back the next day, and you immediately know what's missing.
Yes.
And it either is great or it's terrible. It can go either way. But it's
way.
very similar. Taking that step away is very important.
It is, but it's rewarding. It's both rewarding, and it makes you sometimes it makes you feel like, wow, why couldn't I have thought of that at the time too? So it's both. It's like, am I an imposter? Or,
yeah. No, it happens to everybody.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today, and congratulations.
My pleasure. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.